Hello and welcome to Technically Analytics. Today we're going to be talking about the new Baseball Savant metric, batting stance leaderboard, or batting stance and intercept. And this is a new metric they just rolled out a couple weeks ago, and I decided I would do a video on it because why not? So as you can see, they have this little animation thing, and these are all the potential batting stances that you could have for any player in any position, each box. So we're gonna go through the top and bottom of a few of the categories, like the most depth in the box, the most distance off the plate, the most open stance, and the most closed stance. And of course, for depth in the box, it'd be like, the most in the back of the box, or the most in the front, and then the most, and then distance off the plate, like the farthest from the plate and the closest to the plate. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna see if it matters, and then after we look at some of the players, we're gonna see their OPSs and see if it makes any difference at all, if there's any kind of patterns or anything like that, and we'll see how it goes. So first off, we're gonna start with depth in the box. We're gonna start with the furthest back. And that's Matt Verling. So when you go on here, you can sort by category, or you can search for a player, and then you just click the player to animate, and it shows you a little animation of them actually hitting the ball like that. And play it again. So you can see he steps forward and he steps over, and that's his thing. And he does 37 inches in the box, pretty far back. He has 27.9 off the plate, 18 degree open stance. Now, I didn't do distance between feet because that's just based on how tall you are, really. I mean, and I think to some degree, distance off the plate is also how tall you are. I don't know how tall Matt Verling is, but I don't think he's that tall. But next we have Jake Cronenworth. We'll see his. All right, so he's a different kind of batter. So kind of a similar thing. Very far back in the plate, on the batter's box, kind of close to the plate, 26 inches off, two degrees closed, so he's pretty much straight. Not really. He's not. It's like a very small closed angle. And then we have Ozzie Albies, who we're gonna see a few times actually on this list. He just comes up a lot. He's a very high open stance, and he also, as in this one, I think he might be in another one too. I think maybe it's just these two, but we'll see him a lot. That's his batting. And then we have JP Crawford, 35 depth in box, 25 inches off the plate. And yeah, so that's the depth in box. So it's like the furthest back that you can get. And then, so I think those guys are kind of tall, but I know for a fact these guys are kind of short, right? Like Jose Altuve. He is 11 inches in the box, so he's standing pretty much right in the middle. And then Nicky Lopez, he stands pretty much in the middle too. And Jose Caballero right in the middle, and Xander Bogaerts right in the middle. So these guys are all below 20 inches, or below 15 inches even. And they have various angles, and you can see here various angles and various all open actually stances, which is interesting. So next we're gonna go on to distance off the plate. Oh yeah, Ozzie Albies is here. He stands closest to the plate. You can see it's because look where his foot goes. It goes right to the, and he's right on the line pretty much, especially when he hits left-handed or whatever. And we have Jose Ramirez, who stands pretty close, which is interesting. One of the better hitters in the league. And then we have Andrew Benintendi. See his. These guys are all standing 21 inches or less off the plate. Well, Albies actually is the only one under 21. Everyone else is 21 or thereabouts. And we have Justin Turner. You see his stances are pretty close together, and it kind of just like, he just spreads out after the swing. And then, so that's the furthest, that's the closest distance. And then you have the guys who are farthest, and when you just look at these guys, these are all tall. right? Aaron Judge is like 6'8", Goldschmidt is like 6'5" or something. McMahon is like 6'5", and Stanton is like 6'8" too. So it's pretty interesting that these guys are all similar in that they're really tall, and they, you know, and you might realize that these guys have really good power numbers as well. So I think this is more to do with being tall than being good at hitting. Like, I don't know if you can really count it as like something that you would say like, oh, it's because they stand, you know, so far off the plate. They're standing so back in the box that it gives them some kind of advantage. I don't know that, but it could be the fact that they stand back. Because you can see, like, it's mostly a mix of open and close. Like, there's 2 close and 2 open stances here. And then the depth in the box, they're kind of, you know, within the average, you know, middle of the pack kind of guys. So yeah, that this distance off the plate is like kind of like distance between the feet. It kind of matters only if you're tall, like how tall you are, and maybe preference. And then we have stance angle, which, oh yeah, Ozzy Albies is here again. We have Rafael Devers, who's at the current time very much struggling. He stands way open, basically, you know, and the thing about open stance is it allows you to hit inside pitches better because the angle that you're standing at kind of allows you to swing more inside. So this has some advantages, and, you know, it can help you pull the ball the opposite way as well. Ozzy Albies, and we have Mason Wynn. Again, very open, different, kind of a different stance to Devers. Yeah, he's like, but you can see it gets less extreme very quickly. Like, these guys become almost normal. You can see everyone's, you know, pretty close. Like Isaac Paredes, he's known for hitting only home runs to the left side of the field. So open stance will do that for you. It will help you hit to the opposite side, to the left, especially if you're a left-handed hitter, or a right-handed hitter rather. Sorry. So moving on to the closed stance, guys, we have Stanton again. Yeah, and we have Ian Happ, who's a pretty good hitter. You can see he's pretty, like, I mean, it's not that crazy though, right? Like, and then you have Ketel Marte, who had like an MVP season last year. And then you have Maikel Garcia, who, offensive disruptor plus legend, right? So, you know, or rather, not really a legend, but he, you know, his offensive disruption score was pretty low, rather. So yeah, that's basically the tool. I mean, you can find any player you want to see on here, anyone at all. You know, there's Jeff McNeil. Maybe you're a big Gunnar Henderson fan. You can see I mean, most guys are just like, you know, normal. Like, there's not much. Like, they're either just a few degrees open or whatever, you know. And then you have up to Devers, and you can toggle the views and stuff and set different parameters for it. It's pretty cool. Christian Walker, that's him. And then, so yeah, you can do any player, and it's pretty cool. So let's move on to the spreadsheet, of course. So I did a little spreadsheet, and depth in box, you can see the same top 4. And you can see the OPSs here in box B. And obviously, like, besides Verling and Altuve, everyone in this box is below average. So OPS below 100, or OPS plus below 100 is below average against the league. So I guess depth in box doesn't really matter. If you're standing too far in the box, or too far forward or too far back, you're not necessarily gonna have a great time, I would say. That's what I conclude from this one. I don't know because, like, you know, Altuve, he obviously hits really well, but he always hits really well. He's just a really good hitter, I think. I don't know if it really matters that he stands in the front of the box, but it doesn't seem to matter where you stand here. That doesn't seem to make much difference. Now, distance off the plate, like I was saying earlier, it's about like how tall you are really, because like these guys are all really short, most of them. Like none of these guys are, I don't think, above 6 foot, or if they are, they're barely 6 foot. And then you have a mixed bag, kind of like Justin Turner. I mean, if you take his Seattle stint that he had last year, then 128 and 143 for Ramirez. Those are pretty good hitters. Albies obviously not below average, but he's a better hitter than that in his career. He's like 100 something OPS plus career wise. And Andrew Benintendi, that's his pretty much his career average right there. And then obviously for standing off the plate, like way off, you know, these guys are just tall. That's all it is, I think. And they happen to be power hitters. Aaron Judge happens to be the best hitter in the league. Paul Goldschmidt, he had a bad year last year, but his career is 139 OPS plus. So that's a career average, by the way. So you're getting guys that are, and also one unexpected one is like Ryan McMahon. Like he's pretty tall, so I'm not surprised he's here, but 95. I mean, in his career average is 93 OPS plus. So, like, you have to kind of, like, I don't know. It's, to me, looking just at these two boxes here, I'm thinking it doesn't really matter. I don't think, like, it kind of doesn't matter. But then you come over here to stance angle in box F, and you have to be like, all right, so in box F, and then you have to say like, okay, Rafael Devers 139, Ozzy Albies, okay, Mason Wynn 102, and Isaac Paredes 127.82. He had two different teams, so if you take the 127, that's three guys that are hitting above average. So it would seem like the open stance is pretty damn good, if you ask me. I mean, obviously, I think another thing that needs to be said is that this is such a small sample size, because I didn't feel like doing like 20 players of each category. That would have been probably better. And then you could have averaged them together, and then it would have come up with like an average. Probably, I feel like because of the kind of hitters that stand far away from the plate, that would be the best category. But is it because they're tall, or is it because they're actually great hitters? I mean, clearly Ryan McMahon isn't as good as a hitter as Aaron Judge. I mean, it's just obvious, but they stand in the same spot. So, and then the close, you have Stanton. I mean, obviously, and this is one of the best categories. The only outlier is Miguel Garcia. You take him out of there, it's by far and away one of the better categories, close stance. So, I think all this proves is that actually any stance could work as long as you know how to hit and you're good at hitting. It's not only about like the stance, right? Like stance, it does make a difference, I think, and it's important to have the proper like footwork and make and like the stride that they do. So if you go back to here, like every hitter has like a stride. Like let's look at Teoscar Hernandez. See, he steps forward and then you step toward the pitcher usually, and that step can depend on, and it depends like on the player, like depending on what player you are or who you are, you develop a different kind of step. Some players only have one step, like Freddie Freeman. He only steps forward a little bit and then he goes like that. And some guys don't have any step. I don't know who it was. Is it Stanton? No, it's not Stanton. It's one of the players. It was one of the guys that were far off the plate. Hang on. I think it was McMahon or something. Or Goldschmidt. Yeah, it was Goldschmidt. See, he barely steps at all. So, it all depends on how you develop your swing, really. And a lot of guys do the step forward a little bit and then they do a big step toward the pitcher and follow through. And of course, so overall, I think batting stance does matter. I mean, you have to stand in a proper spot. Like, you're not going to stand somewhere stupid. But I think overall, you should stand based on your height and based on, how far your reach is. Like, can you reach, if you're really tall and you can reach like the other side of the plate very easily by standing just in the middle, then maybe you stand, open and you stand, far back off the plate. And then as for like depth in the box, like that just depends on how well you can see the ball, I guess. Like if you can't really see it, or if you're like kind of short, maybe you stand closer. I don't know why you'd stand in the front. The front feels like a disadvantage no matter what, but standing in the back I feel like could be an advantage because you have a little more, just like a little more time to see the pitch. Like it's like inches, but it is a game of inches, so you really have to decide for yourself where you're gonna stand. And I think that's kind of what this is showing, that it's like based on each player. It's not like you can just do a one size fits all batting stance. So anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Let me know if you want to see more batting stance and intercept content. Just figured I would try to do something with it. I don't know how useful it is, but I think it is interesting. So make sure to like and subscribe. And baseball.